Friends, hello, thank you so much for clicking on the video. It is Friday. We have made it another week in the market, and I think most of us have bitten our nails down to the very skin. And because it's been a hectic week, it's been a great week, but it's also been a hectic week trying to figure out where to navigate, where to go next, and where a lot of these stocks that we're watching are going. I will be talking about DWAC a little bit here, but I mostly want to focus on Rumble because I think there's a big push coming in Rumble here, and not that Digital World acquisition is slowing down by any means, but I think it's waiting for another peak to really move here, and I could be totally wrong. Hopefully I am, and hopefully it moves up more. But I think Rumble is in an interesting position here, and I want to talk about what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing. So please, just because, whatever I'm buying, whatever I'm doing, please do your own due diligence and look into stocks, and don't buy things just because people on YouTube are yapping that they're buying this or whatnot, and I go right into that category. So please do your own research and really move on stocks that you want to move on personally. So kind of just recap what happened here. Obviously Monday, we already had big news coming in starting into Monday with already a little bit of a push. It jumped into an even bigger push into $60. Then DeSantis dropped out. Then we had the New Hampshire primary. Trump won that. So just a lot pushing the stock up this week. A lot of good things for Trump mania, which go right into the stock, whether you are a Trump fan or you're just here to make a buck. Either way, we're just talking as investors. I get it. And then the end of this week, we kind of saw sell-off, but not a lot of sell-off. Not a lot. I think a lot of people were projecting that this was going to go back down to a mid-20 zone. I was even kind of wondering myself. It ended the week at almost $40 at $38 here, but that's great. I mean, that is a heck of a markup. I mean, I think most people, a lot of people in general, have been in the stock maybe 2 weeks, a week, buying in at $17 to $20 to even $30, and look where we're at now. So it's a heck of a markup, and you're not really going to find other stocks like this on the market right now that are moving with this much volume. You're just not. And my whole message on the stock right now is that it's just going to be a rogue stock the whole year. It's not moving on quarterlies. It's not moving on business deals. They're working with this company, that company. They're not selling product. It's strictly moving on hype, and that's totally fine because if you've been in the market for any time, you have seen stocks make a lot of money off of hype and just FOMO that people don't want to miss out. But Digital World, I said Monday that I think this could possibly go to $500. And, surprisingly, I thought I was going to release that video and people were going to be like, you're freaking crazy. A lot of people were honestly like, yeah, I could see it. I kind of see where you're going with this. And I think it could do, like, people were projecting like 800 to like 1,000. I don't think any of those things are crazy because, of all, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I do. If you're new here, I do want to go over what I see this as with someone who's seen crazy things in the market, who's went through the GameStop, AMC situation, and just other little things here and there with the EV kind of pop that we went through, even crypto, for gosh sakes. But the market has these moments. It has these quarterly moments, whether they're 4 months apart or they're even almost a year apart, and we haven't had craziness in the market like this really since Trump was in office, when we had the whole the 8 push, the GameStop AMC push, and it seems like that was yesterday, but it's been a while now. So I truly believe that investors have been looking for something like this. We've been waiting for something like this. Investors love chaos, short day traders, short sellers, whatever it be. Even long-term investors like myself, it's fun to have things like this, to have these little moments in the market, because this is a situation we've never seen before. We've never seen a president own a company, let alone a social media company, a news company, whatever you think about it. Either way, it's a real company with, so I'm not trying to like make this into like a political thing, but it's a real company. And the deal with Digital World and True Social hasn't even happened yet. So there's so many plateaus that levels that this thing could hit, to where, it's probably going to follow these primaries, these caucuses, schedule, each state that Trump takes, we're going to see movement. Each possible, whatever news of good news with Trump, it's going to move. The stock is just going to move on a hype train with Trump surrounding it. And I think that's what people see. I think everybody's on to it, and it is what it is, and you're either in or you're out. But I will say this, and I said this Monday, it's going to be a very volatile stock. So if you're buying in at 38, hey, it could go to 28 and then back to 38 or 40 or 35. It's just going to be very up and down. It may go back to 60 Monday and then sell off to a $30 range. We just don't know. We've never seen anything like this. It's going to be up and down. So the fact that by the time November rolls around, could this be $500 just by the exchange of hands and it being used and abused this whole year? Yeah, it could be driven up to some ridiculous amount of money here just by it being bought up so much and people holding on to it. And the thing is, probably once this stock, if it does reach $100 here within a month or two, it's going to be where I think people are going to start to hold on to it, because we even saw that in a GameStop situation to where, GameStop was like, oh, I went to $50. Oh, that's at $80. And then it went to $100 and people were like, well, maybe I should hold on to it. It can't go any higher, can it? It can't go higher than $100. Well, guess what? And this is going to turn into a situation where people are, becoming bearish with it, bullish, and puts, all that kind of stuff, contracts. And I think this is just going to become a big battle here with this stock, with people betting for it, against it, everything above. And it's just, I think it's going to get out of control here to where it's just going to get stupid. But I've seen stupid make people a lot of money in the market before, so whatever. Okay, so that is my wrapping it up this week. Philosophy, news, whatever on Digital World acquisition. That's kind of how I see it. So some people get mad when I don't look at charts. I don't really think there's any need to look at a chart right now on Digital World. If you're watching somebody go through a candlestick chart, pointing out levels and peaks, plateaus, and if it goes a little more volume here and does this, it's going to hit that. That's great, whatever. Trump could give a speech tomorrow, and a great speech, and this thing would go up. He could have a bad day tomorrow, something could happen, and this thing will probably take a little damage. But obviously, I think we ended out the week really, really good. So congratulations on a lot of people that stayed in it or sold out, bought back in, and made money. That's awesome. So talking about Rumble, I talked about Digital World more than I wanted to, but it's hard not to at this point because it's so interesting. So, all right, Rumble, friends, I'm going to let you know, here's my play. This is what I see Rumble probably doing this year. Even a month ago, not a lot of people, but a few people that I follow on YouTube were starting to talk about Rumble as a long-term investment. And I'm a long-term investor. That's really what I go after here. I think there's going to be two plays right now with Rumble this year. And they're different, but they're kind of the same too. One is that obviously to get you where Rumble is right now, obviously Rumble is a platform that is pushing free speech. It's somewhat like YouTube with Twitter, but mostly YouTube. It's like this, it's been around for a while, but I'm not trying to give the genesis of what Rumble is. But they are getting into an area of profitability where they are making more money, and it looks like within a year or so they will be highly profitable. So they're headed that way. We can see the numbers adding up here. So the question is, are you able to get in now before long-term investors really start to pile it up and push the stock up into a double digit? Or is that where we're headed here? But the two big plays that I see right now is that Rumble, whether you like it or not, is attached to Trump right now. It has attached itself to Digital World right now, along with a few other stocks that have done the same thing. So you have Rumble right now moving off the basis of Trump mania. And whether that means it just means everything. I'm just throwing it all into a barrel. People, trying to catch the crazy FOMO on Digital World right now. and every stock along with it, which goes right where Rumble is. So you had that happening. Now with that too, as long as Trump continues to do well this year in his campaign leading up to November, Rumble's probably going to continue to do well. And it has the partnership with Barstools. And it has, now as long as Trump's campaign runs well this year and goes right into November, whatever happens there, get back to that in a minute, but we will see Rumble do well. And obviously they just had the partnership with Barstool Sports. And obviously they're based in Florida, DeSantis, all that, free speech. So it's great. Now if Trump were to win and Rumble is still aligned with Trump, who knows? It could really take off. Not even looking at the balance sheet, not even looking at what their quarterlies, business, just off hype. Just off hype. There's so much hype this year. That's what you have to understand about this. And I hate saying this because I don't like to tell people to put money into things based off hype, but this is kind of where these stocks are right now. So it could do well just off that. Now, the other situation is kind of going into a long run scenario of this. It does well all year because it's attached to Trump, but then Trump loses the election in November, but Rumble still does well because Rumble is a free speech platform, and I don't know where Digital World will be at that time. Hopefully the deal would have already happened where Digital World and True Social will become one. Those two companies merging as one. I don't know though. We don't have any dates, guarantees at this point. That's why it's a dangerous investment at the same time. But Rumble, either way, the future for Rumble looks really well. I just think it's going to be a little bit longer and not as juicy as Digital World. Now, I could be totally wrong about this. Rumble could be, when we saw the GameStop situation happen, and I don't want to I'm comparing, but I don't want to compare GameStop with Digital World right now because they're two different situations and how they happen, why they happen. If you know the history, whatever. I don't want to go on the genesis of that. But when we saw GameStop be the leader of that movement, it had other brothers with it. It had AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond. What are some other ones that, I'm thinking here? There were other ones that, the Wall Street's bets and all that was going after. But we're seeing that right now with Digital World. It looks like Digital World is like the leader right now. And then it has these little brothers attached to it that are doing well and could possibly do well. So Rumble could be that second little brother. It could be that little brother that's running with Digital World. Is that the scenario that's happening? I don't know at this moment. There's breadcrumbs that look like it, and I've said this before if you've heard me yap, but I really do think being an investor is really, it's being a bit of a detective. You have to look for clues, look for, stocks are somewhat creatures of habit, how they happen, and you just have to look for, inside details of what's going on. So Rumble itself, I am trying to buy up quite a bit of Rumble shares. I am trying to do that because I'm not really playing for a short-term investment right now. I'm looking into 2026, 2027, where Rumble could be. Even if the stock's I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number. Even if it's $25 to $50 at that moment. Will it be that or be more or be less? I don't know, because it's a huge gamble betting that the company, makes more money and becomes, profitable, which it should. It looks like it, but it is a risk at this point. I like Rumble. I'm putting money into it, and whatever happens here, if it runs here to some crazy number, obviously people want it at $10 because I explained that why it has to be at that, but in another video. But for Rumble, I'm looking at it as a long-term investment. So I just want to put that out there because I know there's a short-term play on it, but I think too it'd be healthy and good to look at that as a long-term play for whatever scenario could take place here in this year, whether Trump wins or loses. It could be good for Rumble either way. So that is something to look at there. Friends, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. It's been a great week. I just want to congratulate everyone, and I hope you tune in next week. We all talk about what's going on here, and for next week, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? This week ended kind of rough. We obviously Tesla kind of like crashed the whole market because it did not meet its quarterlies, what people wanted, what it was expected, and so it kind of like killed the market a little bit. But Monday we still have quarterlies with some other tech companies, so I don't know. We'll see what happens here. It might be another little bit of a bloodbath next week. Like I said, I think these stocks that I'm talking about are going to be rogue stocks. They're going to kind of do what they want to do, and they're not going to follow the trend of the market so much. So let me know what you think. Do I sound crazy, or does this sound like what's probably going to take place this year? I don't know. I wish everyone the best of luck. I really do mean that. And I hope you enjoy your weekend, and we will talk again Monday. Bye, friends.